yesterday. However, due to some key challenges here and there, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics further pushed it away. But besides that, like I did mention, we do have a new Inspector General of Police because President Museveni appointed Assistant Inspector General of Police, retired Abbas Byakagaba, as the Inspector General of Police, replacing Martins Ochola, who retired 2 months ago. So there you have it. More stories, not only from the local perspective, but away from Uganda. Now let me check on the team and see how they are doing. I'll start with Chantal Oliver Kaninda, though I wouldn't wish to start with her because of what she wants to set out to me. Good morning, Chantal.
Good morning, Sonko. How are you feeling? I'm really concerned.
I'm feeling okay.
Are you well?
I am well.
Slept well? Welcome to the week. We start again. It's a beautiful week, yeah?
Yeah, and it is. It's going to be.
Well, good morning, dearest viewer. Thank you for watching UBC Television and thank you for joining us. My name is Chantal Olive Akaninda, ready for the new week. Yesterday, there was a very hard knock on my door and only to check, and it was the enumerators. Finally. I was very intrigued by some of the questions asked. The lady asked me, do you hear voices sometimes? And I was like, wait, what?
Mental health.
Yes, she's like, now we are getting into the mental health aspect. And the question that came to my mind was, if any individual has mental health challenges, if they're fortunate enough to recognize that they have them, if they can't go seek help, do you think they're going to tell you they hear voices? Do you think they're going to be truthful? That's the thing that came to my mind, because if you're collecting data like that, you're most likely not going to get accurate information. You're asking me, do you get anxious sometimes? My friend, everyone gets anxious. The landlord might call and you get anxious. But anyway, yes, yesterday I was counted, though the process was a bit flawless. I tried to have an interaction with her to ask her how it has been and some of the challenges they have faced. And it is indeed true that there was a bit of malfunction, a bit of glitches, the delays here and there, the payments for some. They were promised refunds of the 20,000 transport after that 9 days of training. They did not get that kind of that money. They got 10,000 Uganda shillings. She also mentioned that the gadgets they're using were supposed to come in during the training or even before, but they came on the last day of the training. They didn't get well acquainted. Signing in was hard. So I got first-hand information on how challenging this process has been, and also the good side of it being that they are now able to get some of this work done. She also mentioned they did not get to every single place, and just like Ubo said, we have a few more days. So how do you do this? Go to your local council chairperson, over to you, Sonko, to your local council chairperson, and make sure that they know that you are not counted, and schedule for them to come and actually take your information.
There was a neighborhood yesterday I visited in Ndeje where the chairperson was passing through the area, reminding all of the Ugandans not to leave because the enumerators were in place and he didn't want anyone uncounted. So I think it's high time I also went to the LC1 chairperson to see when the enumerators will be coming our way so that I can prepare accordingly. We have more 5 days now, more 6 days to ensure that we are all counted, but I'm yet to see one enumerator close to my doorstep. But that aside, let me check on Olive Monica Najuma, who is elegantly dressed in a yellow. I should say, I don't know whether it's yellow. I may be wrong though. Good morning, Monica.
No, you're not colorblind. It is definitely yellow.
For today.
For today, yeah, he's spot on. But good morning, Jerome. I'm happy to see you. But I saw you taking some meds. Why?
I said no.
Are you having some problems with your heart?
No, not the heart. I was actually taking a deworming syrup just before I went on air.
Okay.
When I went to the pharmacy to pick it, I was asked when was the last time I dewormed. I said last year. And then the pharmacist told me you're supposed to deworm twice a year. That is 6 months, every after 6 months. So I think it had taken me close to 9 months without deworming. And I feel happy for myself. Though taking it early this morning, it is not because of Arsenal.
I
It is
actually
entirely
thought
because
that
of my-
you got a thorough beating yesterday.
No.
And
no.
you
The
decided to take
expectations were
some,
high, but we
some
never met them.
medications for your heart. But you know what's exciting about all of this? It is that Ruben also got himself out of a bind because he had on air made a declaration that if Arsenal wins, he will be taking someone to Rubaga Cathedral to say their nuptials. So for the meantime, he's out of that bind.
In a way, I really don't like the fact that Arsenal led to, led to something like this. You guys, Arsenal, you could have done better. The reason someone is not
been happy. But we send our heartfelt greetings to Sarah, and we know that that man will one day take you to Rubaga Cathedral. But now going back to issues of national importance, Jeremy, you did mention that the president did appoint a new inspector general of police, and it feels like after 23 years the president is finally returning the police to the police. And what do I mean by this? You see, when the president appointed AIG Abbas via Kagaba, he's also an expert on counter-terrorism as the new inspector general of police. It gave some light in that department. Also, in the same changes, the president appointed Senior Commissioner of Police Moses Kafero as the new Director Human Resource Development and Training to replace Brigadier Godfrey Goloba, who has returned to the Ministry of Defense headquarters for redeployment in the UPDF. And in the same message, the president recalled Major General Abel Kandiho and redeployed him to the president's office as senior presidential advisor. And General Kandiho has been serving as the chief of joint staff in the police. Then, as you know, in 2001, that is the first time the president appointed then Major General Edward Katumba Wamala, who was then a UPDF officer, as the Inspector General of Police. And of course, that's not the only army gentleman that we saw leading the police. But now it looks like the police is now back fully in charge.
Well, of course, we do congratulate him upon his appointment, and we do hope that he does serve his country diligently as the new IGP. But, well, of course, here what we do is to make sure that we give you news and information about everything that is making headlines and trending within the country, with which we now start off with what has been making headlines from the local scene in the past 24 hours.
And yes, on the local scene, government through the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife and Antiquities is set to construct regional museums and heritage sites to create more tourism attractions and boost the country's tourism sector. At the Soroti Regional Museum launch, Uganda's Vice President affirmed the government's commitment to partnering with the private sector to develop untapped tourism heritage sites. Vice President Jessica Alupo opened Soroti Regional Museum on International Museums and Monuments Day. Alupo toured stalls showcasing heritage tourism attractions, emphasizing their role in attracting tourists. Butime prioritizes constructing regional museums to boost heritage tourism development. Alupo emphasized museums' role in fostering research and innovation for students. This year's theme was Museums Shaping Knowledge for the Future. Now moving on to Kasese, the commander of the Fisheries Protection Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Mercy Tukahira, has assured fish traders at the Mpondwe Lubiriha border in Kasese district that the fish market will soon return to Uganda from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Lieutenant Colonel Tukahira made this announcement while meeting traders at the Mpondwe Lubiriha border market following the outcry of women involved in the fish trade at the border. The Lubiriha market is one of the largest border markets between Uganda and Congo, primarily dealing in fish sourced from Uganda, Kenya, Sudan, and Tanzania. During the COVID-19 pandemic, The National Task Force advised that markets be temporarily closed to prevent the spread of the virus, which has led to a lasting economic impact to fish traders. Congolese traders working on the Ugandan side have reported significant challenges in transporting their fish to the DRC. Lieutenant Colonel Tukahira assured traders that the fish market would soon return to Uganda. Traders believe that returning the fish market to Uganda will improve community services in the area. And in more news, the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, has emphasized the importance of sending children to religious schools which instill values and principles that are beneficial in everyday life. Mubaje also stated that acts of violence committed by individuals often stem from not growing up in a religious environment, which plays a crucial role in teaching values and discipline, which can help prevent such behaviors. He made these remarks while speaking at the annual Quran competition organized by the Muhammad VI Foundation of African Ulema from Morocco. The event held to select the national qualifiers for the Continental Quran competition, which aims to identify the best reciters and memorizers of the Holy Quran across the continent of Africa. Now moving on to West Nile, local government leaders in refugee-hosting districts of West Nile are urging donors to support Uganda's refugee response due to increased humanitarian needs. This call comes as many refugees now fall under Category 3 of food prioritization, meaning they do not receive food assistance and must become self-reliant. This appeal was highlighted during the closure of a livelihood project funded by the German Federal Foreign Office and implemented by the Norwegian Refugee Council. Leaders in West Nile want an ongoing donor support due to the limited duration of humanitarian projects. But for Terego district, many refugees are leaving camps due to South Sudan's insecurity, quickly return to Uganda. At least there seems to be a need for humanitarian intervention due to the continuous influx of refugees into Mado Okolo district. So far, livelihood projects by partners have been crucial during the current food crisis. Uganda hosts over 1.5 million refugees, with West Nile accommodating over 700,000. Well, that does it for our local news. Back to you, Sonko.
Well, away from the local scene, now we have more information and news making rounds away from Uganda, with which we have to check out and also give you more details about that.
Well, Sonko, earlier on you mentioned about the Iranian president. Now, news still coming in says Iranian president, that is Ibrahim Raisi's life is at risk after his helicopter crashed in a very concerning accident amidst heavy fog in northern Iran. Rescuers on Monday found the helicopter that was carrying the Iranian president as well as the country's foreign minister Hussein and other senior officials that crashed in the mountainous northwest reaches of Iran. The aircraft had a rough landing near Jolfa, the Iranian city on the border of Azerbaijan enclave, around 600 kilometers northwest of the Iranian capital, Tehran. The helicopter was seen from a distance of some 2 kilometers ahead of the Iranian Red Crescent Society. Par Hussein Kolivand told state media. Now, Turkish authorities said drone footage showed a fire some 20 kilometers southwest of Azerbaijan-Iranian border on the side of a steep mountain. State media has yet to report on casualties or confirm the whereabouts or condition of the president, but urged Iranians to pray for Mr. Raisi. Moving on, the fifth phase of voting in India's seven-phase election has begun in 49 seats across 6 states and 2 union territories. The first 4 phases of the mammoth vote were held on April 19th, 26th, and May 7th and 13th. The next 2 phases will fall on May 25th and June 1st, and the votes will be counted on June 4th. The election primarily pits the National Democratic Alliance, led by 2-time Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party against the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, spearheaded by the main opposition Indian National Congress Party. There are about 969 million registered voters to elect 543 members of Lok Sabha, the lower house of parliament, in the world's largest democratic exercise over 6 weeks. Now back to Africa. The Democratic Republic of Congo Army says it has crushed an attempted coup against President Felix Tshisekedi in the capital Kinshasa, involving Congolese and foreign fighters. DR Congo Army spokesperson Brigadier General Sylvain Ekenge said on the state-run broadcaster RTNC TV that several suspects have been detained and the situation is now under control. His statement comes hours after armed men attacked the house of Vital Kamerhe, the former chief of staff and close ally to President Tshisekedi, early on Sunday morning. Witnesses say a group of about 20 assailants in army uniform attacked the residence and an exchange of gunfire followed. 2 guards and an assailant were killed in the attack on Mr. Kamerhe's house, his spokesman and the Japanese ambassador said in posts on X. The men also occupied Palais de Nation, the office of the President of the Republic, which is located in the city center, a place highly secured by the Republican Guard. And lastly, matters climate. Pope Francis has appealed for a political shift in the fight against climate change as he called for universal approach and resolute activity to invert the global warming curve by halving the rate of warming over the next 25 years. He stated this in his address to the participants in a three-day Vatican summit on the climate crisis, tagged From Climate Crisis to Climate Resilience. The summit was organized by the Pontifical Academies of Science and Social Sciences. Pope Francis equally called on the international community to leverage the regenerative power of nature to move the world towards climate resilience. He urged policymakers to harness the regenerative power of nature in order to remove the vast quantities of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And that's it for what is happening across the globe and climate news.
Back to Uganda now. We head to the front pages of our dailies. We start off with what the New Vision is highlighting. Why Museveni recalled Byakagaba is at the front page. What awaits new Inspector General of Police? Find more details in today's New Vision. Then President Museveni hails patience, and a pictorial of President Museveni together with the First Lady and the First Daughter, Pastor Patience Rwabogo, and the former General Overseer of the National Fellowship of Born Again Pentecostal Churches, Bishop Joshua Luere, at the front page of the New Vision. Then Bride and Groom Expo gearing up as well. Then Iran president in helicopter accident. Find more details in today's New Vision. Then Church Waina Mirembe Bishop suspended choir members. Find more details in the New Vision today. Now also we head to Kenya. The Daily Nation. Ruto starts US state visit. The president will have various engagements in his 4-day visit to the United States, rotating around diplomacy and trade. Then 2022 poll losers now eye key seats in the UDA polls as Africa President's Palace hit in failed DRC coup attempt. The Daily Nation gives you details. Gachagua fights back. Read about the Deputy President of Kenya. Then the Daily Nation is highlighting it's 4 in a row. Man City make history in Premier League win yesterday. Now, away from that, we head to Tanzania with the Citizen newspaper as the Bank of Tanzania governor adamant on lifting CEO bank term limit. Then also, what $60 million extra capital for glass company means as Finance Ministry touts success of water green bond. Then Tanzanian makeup artist making waves in Hollywood. Who is that? Find more details about her in today's Citizen. Now, Safari Wallet redefining travel experiences for Tanzanians as the Citizen looks at Tanzania's top techpreneurs today. Then sports, Usyk joins Elite Club of Undisputed Heavyweight Champions after beating and defeating after that victory on Saturday. Now, of course, that is it from our press review this particular morning. As we're heading into the break, we do have an inspirational song, and this one is kicking off our Monday, coming in from Levixon Mbera. When we do return, we have our newsreel coming up. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.